We have heard compound interest is good. It helps create massive wealth. This statement is absolutely true. Well, as much as it's true, compound interest is bad too. Bad? What? We all know this. Compound interest is known to build massive wealth for long-term investors. So much so that the famous scientist once said,
"Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it."
Most of us might have already heard about this. We all know this. But the sad reality is, we all focused on the first half of the statement, which says compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. And we all focused on that. We tweeted on that. We sent small memes, jokes, SMSs. We forwarded this. We love the fact that he admitted that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. And that's true, absolutely true. The sad reality is, that's it. That's where we stopped ourselves. But what we neglected is the latter half. Our arguments, our liking, sharing, feeling, sharing the emotions, all of it revolved around the first half of the statement. Sadly, many did not pay attention to the latter half of this quote, which is even more important than the whole statement itself. What does it say? It says, "He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it." Yes, that is what is referred to as the bad compound interest. He who doesn't, pays it. Unfortunately, many of us pay this bad compound interest in our life. And sadly, they don't even know it. This video will focus on the same and will help you stop being on the paying end and bring you on the earning end. When this video ends, you will be the one who understands it and earns it, provided you see this till the end. But hey, I need a favor from you. There are many in this world who is in the receiving end, who are paying it. Help them by hitting the like button and subscribe to this channel, and help this video reach those people so they can be benefited. Now, I assume you know what compound interest is and how it works. There are multiple videos on YouTube which you can refer to and see how compound interest works. I'm not going to go deep into that, definitely not. But let's understand something. Let's understand a kind of loan that is there in your country which actually charges you on a compound interest basis, and how it can affect your finances. You might have guessed it right. Yes, it's the credit card. Let's understand the basics first. Your credit card is tied to a revolving credit bank account. When you charge a purchase to your card, you're essentially borrowing money from the bank. The bank pays that store and you pay the bank back later. You're allowed to borrow up to a certain amount at a time. This is known as your credit limit. Once you have reached your limit, you can't charge any more to this card until you have paid off some of your balance. But before we go any further, let's talk about interest. When you spend money on a credit card, you will be charged interest on an amount that you owe after the grace period is over. Now, before the grace period, at the end of the month, your credit card issuer is going to issue a bill. Your bill tells you your outstanding balance and the minimum amount you need to pay to avoid a late payment fee. If you pay back your entire balance before the bill is due, you won't owe any interest. But if you don't pay back the full balance, the remainder begins to accrue interest. How much? That will depend on how long it takes you to pay back your balance and your annual percentage rate, or the APR. Your APR is the annual cost of borrowing money from the bank. But your credit card company will charge you interest on a daily basis once the grace period ends. To figure out how much interest is accrued every day, you just divide your APR by 365 and then multiply that by your balance. Now before I go there, let's check how much is the APR in India. This is a screenshot which says the minimum APR is 42. Let's take that card and calculate. For example, if you have a balance of 10,000 rupees and an APR of 42%, you divide the 42 by 365 to get about 0.12%. That's your daily interest rate. Multiply this by your 10,000 balance and you can see that you have accrued about 12 rupees in interest on that day, leaving your new balance as 10,012 rupees. I assume you don't charge your card anymore, but here is where it gets dangerous. The next day, your credit card issuer applies your daily interest on your new balance, which in this case, 10,012 rupees. So the balance grows by 12.01 on that day. Add this to the previous balance, which makes it 10,024 rupees and 01 paise. The next day, you pay the same interest rate on this larger balance and suddenly you owe 10,036 rupees and 04 paise. By the time they send you the next bill, your outstanding balance after a month now stands at 10,366 rupees 33 paise. You have your eyebrows raised. 366 rupees in interest, you ask. But you earn good, so this doesn't pinch you much. What you do is, you pay the minimum balance. How much? I believe it's 5%, I guess. I don't know, I'm not sure. But if you pay the 5% minimum balance, which is 518 rupees, and now your outstanding becomes 9848 rupees. But it's a new month. You again have your utility bills coming your way. So what you do? You swipe again. You make another purchase of 10,000 rupees for your bills and groceries. Now your new balance is 10,000 and 9848. That's 1948. You enjoy the next 1 month not knowing what's happening behind you. 30 days later, you get another bill. Assuming you haven't used this card in between, you are now billed for an outstanding of 20,599 rupees. That's a whooping 752 rupees in interest. You do what? You pay the minimum balance and swipe again for the next 30 days. You pay the minimum balance and swipe again for the next month's bills. Now, assuming your numbers don't change, month 3, you're down to 30,689 rupees. Month 4, you're down to 40,637 rupees. After a year, you're almost paying 6,000 rupees on minimum payments. And your outstanding is more than 1 lakh. It's approximately around 1,24,000 or more. A few months later, you find yourself paying 10,000 rupees on minimum payments, as much as your monthly bill amounts to be. But now you have that amount as your minimum payment commitment and a credit card outstanding of more than 2 lakhs. And that is still accruing interest on a daily basis. Just 1.5 years, and you're far away from what it started off as a very easy swipe and enjoy journey. You fell for the 30-day interest-free trap. See how quickly it gets out of control. This 10,000 rupees is something which you could have easily paid off and had a peaceful night's sleep with no outstanding on your credit cards. This, my dear, is the bad compound interest. The interest compounds on you on a daily basis, and you're left gasping for air at the end. So what now matters most is what Einstein says in his statement. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Now it's on you. Did you understand this? Or are you still going to pay it? If you're using a credit card and if you're paying the minimum balance, you are actually paying it. And the banks are the ones who are earning it. How many of you have a credit card and how many of you pay the minimum balance every month? Come on, be honest. Be honest to yourself. This is an eye-opener. If you're honest to yourself, you would know you are on the receiving end. Not the money. You're on the receiving end of beating. You're on the receiving end of digging your own grave. Now that's your choice now. If you want to understand it, earn it, fine. If you want to still keep on paying it, it's your call. But if you want to be a good investor, then this video series is for you. And if you have problems with the basics of finance, I request you to visit this playlist and see all the videos here. That will help you fix your finances first. Well, as of this video, adios.